I welcome you to my channel. Subscribe and listen to my new stories every day. As I push the key into the lock of our small, cozy apartment, a faint, unfamiliar scent catches me off guard. It's subtle, almost elusive, the kind of scent you might dismiss as a trick of the mind. But it lingers in the air, a crisp, masculine perfume that definitely isn't mine. My heart skips, but I shove the uneasy feeling aside, convincing myself it's nothing. Maybe Betty had guests over, maybe it's a new air freshener. I shake my head, dismissing the paranoid thoughts. Weeks pass, but every now and then, the scent reappears, always on Fridays. With each occurrence, it grows a little stronger, a little more distinct. It clings to the living room, to the throw pillows on our couch, to Betty's clothes. It's always there, waiting for me at the end of the week, as if taunting me. Today, I decide enough is enough. I leave work early, the gnawing suspicion in my gut too strong to ignore any longer. The city buzzes indifferently around me as I make my way home, each step heavier than the last. I open the door quietly, the familiar creak of the hinges now sounding like a thunderclap in my tense state. The apartment is dimly lit, the curtains drawn. That scent hits me like a wave, stronger and undeniable. It's here, now, mixed with another, more intimate smell. My heart races, my hands tremble. I step silently towards the sounds that confirm my worst fears. In our bedroom, the world tilts. There, on the bed I share with my wife, is Betty. Her blouse is undone, her skin flushed with a guilty glow. And with her, laughing, touching, is her coworker, Mark. The shock pins me to the spot, my breath stolen by the raw betrayal before me. Be Betty? My voice breaks the spell, turns the joyous moans into gasps of horror. Mark scrambles, grabbing for his shirt, his face a mask of panic. Betty sits up, her eyes wide, lips parting in a failed attempt to form words. How could you? My voice is low, trembling not with fear but with anger, a simmering, devastating anger that feels foreign yet fitting. It's not what it looks like, John. Betty's plea sounds desperate, hollow. Please, let me explain. But there's nothing she could say, no words that could mend the vivid, searing image burned into my mind. I feel a cold resolve settle over me, a path unfurling in the chaos of my thoughts, a path that leads to revenge. We're done, Betty. My declaration is firm, final. I want a divorce. The room is thick with tension, heavy with the weight of broken vows. Mark makes his exit, a coward's retreat, leaving behind the shattered pieces of what used to be my life. As I stand there, watching the ruins, the scent of betrayal strong in the air, I know this is only the beginning. Revenge has a way of shaping its own path, and I am merely its instrument now. The journey will be long, and justice will be served, in ways they cannot yet imagine. The city sleeps, but vengeance never does. It's been a week since that fateful Friday, a week of plotting, of anger simmering just below the surface. Tonight, the pieces begin to move, shadows against the backdrop of an indifferent cityscape. My hands grip the steering wheel as I park across the street from Mark's modest townhouse, a place I've surveilled enough to know his routines, his habits, his secrets. The streetlight flickers above, casting an eerie glow on the asphalt. I check my watch, 11:47 p.m., right on schedule. Mark should be home soon, his evening ritual of drinks at the local bar a constant in his otherwise chaotic life. Tonight's plan is simple, confrontation, not with fists, but with words sharp enough to cut through the lies. A silver sedan turns into the street, headlights sweeping across my hidden face. It's him. I wait as he parks, steps out, and walks up to his front door, fumbling with his keys. This is it. I open my car door and step out, my footsteps silent on the cool pavement. Mark. My voice slices through the quiet night, steady and calm. He startles, dropping his keys. They clatter on the concrete steps. John. What the hell are you doing here? His voice betrays a sliver of fear, his eyes darting nervously. We need to talk. Now. I close the distance between us, my presence unavoidable. In my house. He stammers, taking a step back, his back nearly brushing his front door. No. Right here. Right now. I stand firm, the streetlight casting long shadows around us. Mark swallows hard, his Adam's apple bobbing. Okay, talk then. It wasn't just a fling with Betty, was it, Mark? It's bigger than that. How many others? My question hangs between us, heavy with accusation. Mark's eyes flicker with panic. I don't know what you're. Cut the crap, Mark. I've seen the emails, the messages. You think you're clever, but you're a cliché. How many families have you helped ruin? The words pour out, each one laced with venom. Mark's face goes pale, the facade of ignorance crumbling. It's not like that. It's just. Just what? Fun. A game? I interrupt, my voice rising, a crescendo of fury and betrayal. No, it wasn't supposed to be like this. I didn't mean for anyone to get hurt. His voice is weak, pleading. You're pathetic. I step closer, my gaze piercing him. This ends now. If you ever come near Betty or any other family again, I'll make sure everyone knows what you really are. A home wrecker, a predator. Mark nods, his posture deflated, defeated. Okay. I'll stop. I swear. I take a step back, my point made. Remember, Mark. I'll be watching. As I walk back to my car, the cool night air feels sharper, more alive. It's a small victory, but the path of revenge is long and winding. Betty's betrayal is only the beginning. Each step forward is a step deeper into a dark maze, but I am committed. For every action, there will be an equal and opposite reaction. My revenge has just begun, and the night still holds many secrets. The glare of the computer screen is harsh against the dark veil of my home office. It's late, too late for anything but the schemes that now occupy my every waking thought. My fingers dance across the keyboard, pulling up financial statements, emails, any digital footprint that Betty might have left in her wake of deceit. If Mark was a player in this twisted game, I'm certain Betty has more secrets buried. Tonight, I'm digging them up. An email catches my eye, flagged for follow-up, a reminder of a significant transaction from our joint account, money transferred to an unknown account, sizable and suspicious. My heart pounds with a mix of adrenaline and dread. I jot down the details, my next lead, my next move in this game of cat and mouse. The clock ticks past midnight when I decide it's time for a more direct approach. I grab my keys and head out to Betty's new place, a small apartment across town she moved into after our separation. The night air is cool, carrying whispers of the coming fall. I drive with purpose, the city's lights streaking by in a blur. Pulling up to her building, I notice a light on the second floor, her apartment. I lock the car and head inside, taking the stairs two at a time. At her door, I pause, taking a deep breath before I knock firmly. The door swings open, and Betty stands there, surprised. John. What are you doing here? It's late. We need to talk, Betty. Now. I don't wait for an invitation, pushing past her into the living room. What's this about, John? She asks, a note of fear in her voice. It's about the money, Betty. The money you transferred last month. Where did it go? Who is it for? My questions spill out, rapid and demanding. Betty's face falls, her mask of innocence slipping. It's not what you think, John. Then explain it to me, make me understand. Because right now, it looks like you're paying someone off. I lean in, my voice low, pressing for the truth. It was a mistake, a bad investment. I thought I could make some extra money, it wasn't anything illegal. Her defense is quick, her eyes darting away. A bad investment? Who's the investor, Betty? Who's involved? I probe deeper, not letting her slip away with vague excuses. She hesitates, then sighs, resigning herself to the truth. It was a friend, someone I thought I could trust. They promised they'd double the money in a month. And let me guess, they disappeared. I guess, the pattern all too familiar. Yes, she admits, her voice a mixture of shame and frustration. I was a fool. We'll get to the bottom of this, Betty. Together. My tone softened slightly, seeing her distress. But I need everything, no more secrets. Betty nods, her shoulders slumping. Okay, John. No more secrets. As I leave her apartment, the pieces of the puzzle are slowly coming together, but the image they form is still unclear. Who else is involved? How deep does this go? The answers are out there, and I'm determined to find them. My drive for revenge now mixes with a new, unexpected ally, Betty herself. Our past may be shattered, but our quest for truth might just rebuild something new in its ruins. The last few days have been a whirlwind of revelations, each more disturbing than the last. As I sit in my car outside the nondescript office building that houses the private investigator I hired, I can't help but feel the final pieces of the puzzle are about to fall into place. Today, I get the full report, a report that promises to unveil the full extent of Betty's deception. The PI, a gruff man named Daniels, meets me with a folder thick with documents. Got everything you asked for, John. It's more tangled than you thought. We sit across from each other in a secluded corner of a nearby cafe, the hum of morning traffic a dull backdrop to the impending explosion of truth. Daniels lays out the photographs, bank statements, and emails meticulously. Each piece is a stab of betrayal, but I brace myself for the final blow. Here's the kicker, Daniels says, pointing to a series of photographs. Not just your wife and Mark. There are more, several high-profile names involved. It's a whole network. My jaw clenches as I absorb the scenes of secret meetings and intimate encounters, a tapestry of lies. And the money? I ask, my voice steady despite the turmoil inside. It was funneled into an account for a shell company. Seems your wife was the least of your concerns. This goes deep, and it's dirty. Armed with this knowledge, my plan for revenge crystallizes into a cold, hard resolve. No more games, no more half measures. I thank Daniels and leave, my mind racing with the enormity of the deceit. The next steps are a blur of activity. With every transaction traced, every illicit meeting documented, I build my case. Not just for divorce, but for exposing the entire sordid affair to the light of day. My revenge will be complete and merciless. A week later, I call a meeting, inviting every involved party under the guise of a reconciliatory gesture. The venue is an upscale hotel conference room, the air thick with tension and unspoken questions as Betty, Mark, and the others gather. Thank you for coming, I start, my tone calm, controlled. I know you're wondering why we're here. Betty eyes me warily, a flicker of fear passing through her gaze. John, what is this about? It's about the truth, I reply, clicking the remote in my hand. The projector lights up, and the first slide is displayed, bank statements and emails. As I walk them through each damning evidence, the color drains from their faces. Mark looks like he might bolt, but the doors are securely manned by private security I hired. You all played a part in this deceit. You destroyed lives for profit, I continue, my voice growing harsher with each word. But it ends today. The final slide shows their faces, names, and deeds, set to be sent to every major news outlet and law enforcement agency. The room erupts in chaos, pleas and threats blending into a cacophony of desperation. No, John, please, let's talk about this. Betty cries, stepping towards me. There's nothing left to discuss. You made your choices. I turn my back on her, on all of them, the click of my briefcase echoing my final words. Goodbye, Betty. As I walk out, leaving their cries behind me, the weight of the past months feels both heavier and lighter. My revenge is complete, but at what cost? The world will know of their betrayal, and they will lose everything, just as I did. But as I step into the light of a new day, I realize that this is not just an end. It is also a beginning, a chance to rebuild from the ruins of betrayal, free from the shadows that have darkened my life. The path forward is mine alone to shape.